Shoutout collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video, and welcome to episode 187 of our Bossk Bounty. This is the weekly Q&A series. It drops every Sunday where I take your questions from the comment section below and do my best to answer them. So if you do have a question for next week's episode and you want to be featured in the video, please leave that question in the comment section, and as I say, hopefully you'll be featured. Last week's episode was a live stream, so I'm not counting it in the numbering. 2 weeks ago was 186, this is 187, so the live stream, which was in its place, is not being counted in the numbering. But thanks for everybody that watched that live stream with my guest John Miko. Had an awesome time as always, so thank you so much. And also thank you to anybody that gave me a super chat on that live stream as well. Greatly appreciate it, thank you so much. Now, before we do get on to this week's questions, I just want to say a huge thank you to Anthony over at the Imperial Communique. In fact, I think he did a live stream yesterday where he opened loads of figures, like extreme amount of figures in one live stream. But I just want to say a massive thank you to him because he was at SDCC and he managed to pick me up this chrysanthemum. Now, I have already reviewed it. We ended up getting it a week or so later, but he picked this one up at the convention for me because I wasn't sure whether we were going to be getting it over here or not. But unfortunately, it sat in customs for a good month for some reason, which was a bit annoying. As I say, I did manage to get myself another one and review it on the channel, but big thank you to Anthony for picking this up for me while he was there. He has given me some of his cards here and everything. You can find him on YouTube. I will leave a link to his channel in the description below. Awesome channel. And a note came with it as well, and it says, "Tim, hope the Comic Con exclusives arrived safely and find you well. Your thoughts, thoughtful and sincere reviews are deeply appreciated, and it's been a great joy forming friendships with collectors like yourself from the world over. Enjoy, all my best, Anthony, the Imperial Communique. P.S. I'm not into the Black Series either, but thought you might dig this poster nonetheless." And this was the main reason that I did get in contact with Anthony, because I'm not too sure if you know that sometimes at these conventions Hasbro give out free posters basically. So when I was at Celebration, I managed to pick up a few there, and obviously I wanted the ones that they were giving out over in America, and he kindly picked this one up for me. So if I just show you this very quick, it is of the Vintage Collection speeder bike. So thank you so much for that, Anthony. That'll go awesome with my other ones. Really appreciate it. And the Black Series one that he's talking about is actually pretty cool, isn't it? That is the Black Series. That's what, some figures from the Mandalorian there, isn't it? So you've got R5, R2, you've got Luke, we've got Din Djarin, and what's that, the Mandalorian? Yeah, so pretty awesome. So thank you so much, Anthony. Really appreciate it, buddy. And hopefully I will be able to return the favour in the future. Alright then guys, so with all that being said, if you do happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like down below because it really does help the video and the channel. And subscribe if you're new, and let's get on to the first question. Boba Fett 1 says, "Great video as always, thanks for your reviews. Question for next week. What is going on with the missing VC 271? Any ideas?" So I do have a theory about this, and it's similar to what's happened before. I think where they've made the mistake with, what is it, 276 is it? Let's have a look. VC 276 is Arc Commander Colt, but it's also the Bib Fortuna that you get with the Boba Fett's Throne Room set. So they've had two figures which are the same. I think that possibly one of those should have been VC 271 and they've missed it, and they're going to have to go back eventually and correct it some way. They won't release that figure again with a correct number or anything. They'll just assign 271 to a new figure in the future somewhere. Very much like they did with that Special Forces guy from the Bad Batch. You had the 4-pack of Bad Batch figures, and then one of those was like, the number was completely out of sync with the others basically. They went back, and I think it's VC 188, I want to say. That's what I think's happened with this, personally. But you never know, there might be another figure that they've pipelined ages ago which ends up being 271, but that's my theory. General Madine's Barber, what a fantastic name that is, says, "Hi mate, just wondering what made Bossk your favourite character, and what are some of your other favourites?" So yeah, it's been a while since I've answered this question. I have answered it on previous episodes, but it's probably a long time ago now. But basically, Bossk was the figure that I used as a kid as like the baddie. He used to be always chasing down the heroes. I always just liked the look of him, his yellow flight suit, this sort of like lizard man alien. I don't know, I just really like Bossk, and ever since then, obviously with my channel and everything, my website, I just named him after the character. And I am now a focused collector of Bossk as well. I try to get anything Bossk really. In terms of other favourite characters, of course, you can't really go too far wrong with some of the other amazing figures I used to play with as a kid, like Han Solo and Chewbacca and the Scout Trooper. I used to like the Imperial Hoth Stormtrooper. There's so many, but Bossk always stuck out for me. I like the Gamma Guards as well. Any of the aliens, but in terms of the heroes, I definitely used to play with the like Bespin Han Solo and the Luke Skywalker Han, and also of course Chewie. I mean, you can't forget Chewie. He's in most of the films. So yeah, they're my favourites. Russell Banks says, "Hi Tim, I've just watched the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka and thought they were brilliant. Hope you and everyone else enjoyed them too. A HasLab related question for next week. After the fate of the Razor Crest in Mando Season 2, do you think we should be worried about whether the Ghost will survive the Ahsoka series?" I don't think we should be worried, because I'm pretty sure that the Ghost did turn up at the end of the Rise of Skywalker in that armada of rebel ships. It was there. It might not be the Ghost, but I think it is. It's the same type of ship anyway. I think we can pretty much safely say that it was the Ghost. So if it's in there, then it doesn't get blown up in Ahsoka. That actually reminds me, I do need to say a huge thank you to Jeff Russell, who increased his Patreon subscription. Thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate the support. And also to Ontario Fan, who is my latest channel member on YouTube. If you are interested in becoming a channel member or supporting me through Patreon, the links are in the description below. But thank you to those 2 guys, and also thank you to all of my other Patreon supporters and channel members. Leon Jarmo says, "Thank you for all you do for the community and getting me away from bad Sunday TV. Question for next week: there seems to be no love for General Madine, and I think he's a must-have and a great troop builder for rebel officers. With that uniform style appearing in the last episode of Ahsoka, what do you think the chances are of a carded Madine and a 4-pack of rebel officers to help offset tooling on a likely not terribly popular figure? Bonus 21B is in there. Really hope for an 88 style plan to get him in the line." Yes, so long as his elbows move, right? But yeah, going back to General Madine, I've got my original vintage Kenner version there. Yeah, it is kind of a boring figure, isn't it? And it's one of those ones that, would it sell well? We do need him for the original 96 at some point. And it was great seeing that uniform turn up in Ahsoka. If you follow me on Instagram, I think I made a post about it a while ago anyway, from when we had the trailer, because I saw one of them in the trailer. And I thought right then, that is General Madine's outfit. This is the time to do him. But yeah, I don't know. Ask yourself, will a 4-pack of these guys sell? I'm not too sure. They are pretty sort of plain, aren't they? But you know, if they do a bit more in the series, maybe I could see it happening, especially as you say, we do need General Madine. Noah Thompson says, "Hey Tim, question for next week. With the Ghost already being funded and hoping all tiers get unlocked, would this be a sign for Hasbro to put more effort and funding into TVC? At least 1 extra wave a year could really help bring down the backlog. At the very least, they won't have us waiting the same amount of time for another TVC HasLab, right?" Yeah, I kind of get your thinking about that, but I mean, the Razor Crest was a runaway success. It had nearly 30,000 backers, and it's still taken them this long to do another one in TVC. I think we're 3 for 3 now. All 3 have been a success in the vintage collection, so they're probably a bit more confident. I do wonder if they do think about people's wallets as well, though, and how many HasLabs people can actually consume in like a year or 2 years or whatever. So there is that element to it, but in terms of an extra wave a year, I don't know. I think it comes down to the tooling budget more rather than more waves. I think the vintage collection needs more new figures rather than more figures, as it were. That's my opinion on it anyway, because an extra wave could just be an extra wave of repacks and repaints or whatever. We actually need more newly tooled figures so they can get some of those new characters out, and also get some of those original trilogy characters out, for example, like General Madine, where the figure will probably need all new tooling. DPD82 says, "Question for next week. I know that HasLabs are one-offs that never get retail, but do you think there's any chance of the Phantom 2 being released on its own later down the line? Thanks." This is an interesting one, isn't it? Because I don't think they've ever actually said that the Phantom 2 is exclusive to the Ghost like they have with the figures and the card backs. However, I can't really see them releasing that outside of the HasLab, because at the end of the day, if you got hold of one of those, then you're going to want the Ghost, because it goes with the Ghost. So I think the way to get the Phantom 2 is to get the Ghost, because as I say, for people that didn't get the Ghost later on, you give them a Phantom 2, the thing that they're going to want once they get that Phantom 2 is the Ghost to go with it, and at that point, they won't be able to get it. But it's not out of the realms of possibility, of course. just to make a bit more money on an existing sculpt, maybe they will do it. What I would like to see is a Phantom 1 being released, all newly tooled Phantom 1 that fits in with the Ghost as well. That would be pretty awesome. Just like they've done with the figures, promising those other 2 figures of Sabine and Chopper on those mural cards. Why don't they promise us down the line that they'll also do a Phantom 1 that interacts and fits in with the Ghost? That would be pretty awesome. Major Camo says, great work once again, Tim. Question for next week. With the upcoming Phase 1 Clone Trooper, do you think Hasbro will use this time to fix the major complaints collectors have with the current Phase 2 figure? Removable helmet, oversized helmet, and flimsy blasters. I'm not too sure about flimsy blasters. I think they just come with all figures these days. I don't know whether it's to do with choking hazards or something. I really don't know, but they could be made out of better plastic, that is for sure. In terms of the oversized helmet, I don't think they really need to do much, to be honest, because if you take this figure, which I think is a brilliant figure other than the slightly weird helmet, they have the same head that they used for the 4-pack of Phase 1 Clone Troopers that came out with the older body. So if you get one of those helmets here, they actually fit on that head pretty well. And then you've got yourself a Phase 1 clone. Helmet looks in scale to me. So I don't really think there's anything they need to do. Hopefully they won't mess it up. Paul's Collectible says, Tim, as always, another great Q&A session. You're a machine with this steady stream of content you produce. Question for next week. The most recent case of TVC figures I received had some of the worst bubble to card rub damage I had seen to date, and it detracted significantly from my enjoyment of the figures. With the new thicker cardstock, do you know if or foresee Hasbro mitigating this damaging design flaw with slightly larger case boxes, thin paper between the figures, or some other fix in the future? Thanks in advance for any hope you can give. So it's been a while since I've done a Ask Bossk Bounty, and in between there I was on a Hasbro Q&A, and this was exactly one of my questions, pulling them up on the fact that that Ring of Death, that I call it, is now back. They stopped it for a couple of waves, but it is now back. My Gerard card back had that Ring of Death, which was really annoying. I had 2 of them and both of them had it, which was really bad. So I brought it up in that Q&A, and once again they're looking into it, so let's hope something gets sorted. Paul John Loner says, fun content as always, thanks BB. Question for next week. With the writers and actors strike delaying upcoming projects, I suspect Hasbro will be forced to harvest from existing content. Which Star Wars series or films would you like them to take another look at? Personally, I'm down with anything new from the OT, but I'd love to see Andor and Solo get more love. Cheers. Yeah, so with that actors and writers strike, I don't think that's going to affect them until maybe 2025 or something, because they've got a lot of stuff to do between now and then. We've got Skeleton Crew coming out. There's definitely going to be some figures for that. They can do more from Ahsoka. They can do more from the Mando. And as you say, they can do more from Andor. All of that is still quite relevant and still quite new, so they can get loads of that stuff out while this whole writer's strike is going on. But what would I like to see them go back and do? Definitely Rogue One. I think there's still some of the crew of Rogue One that we need. We need Baze Malbus. We need Bodhi Rook. We need Pow. We need the Monkey Man in the, you know, that figure there. That would be awesome. And there's a few from Solo that I would like as well, but I think Solo's so far gone now that, you know, we probably won't ever see any more figures from that, which is a bit of a shame. But Rogue One, because it's so connected to the original trilogy, is something that I could see them doing. Of course, we're getting Krennic as well this year, which is brilliant. And of course, the original trilogy, yeah, never stop giving us the original trilogy. At the end of the day, that's what all of this is built on. Intergalactic Brick says, question for next week. Do you think we'll get many more Bad Batch characters? We've only just now gotten the main character, and I feel like they'll complete the squad. But what about any other characters? Sid, Hemlock, and Dr. Emery are a must. I would love a Commander Mayday. Yeah, absolutely, I would as well. But are they going to do the squad? Because I haven't seen any of the others apart from the one that we've got, which is Hunter, isn't it? So where are the others? Are we going to be getting any of those next year? Have any of them been pipelined? They seem to have forgotten about it. And with Ahsoka and Mando Season 3, where are they, man? Oh, it's so frustrating. This is why I don't like it when they bring out one character from something and there's nothing else to go with it. The Knights of Ren being one of the main culprits. It's a shame, but, you know, how long have we got to wait to get the whole crew of the Bad Batch? I fear that it could be 2 or 3 years. That's personally what I'm thinking anyway, because of the other stuff that they're doing. The Donut Van says, hey boss, question for next week. God forbid we don't hit 17,000 for the Ghost. Hasbro's made it clear we won't get Kanan or Zeb in their Season 3 and 4 appearances, not only on the mural card back, but do you think the chances are we'll see a Kanan and Zeb Season 1 and 2 looks if they don't get backed? As an opener, I just really want those characters. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. And I don't know, man, if these don't get made, then, you know, I would imagine that even though their outfits do change from season to season, that there are pieces of those figures, maybe the legs of Kanan, for example, that they can use for Season 1. But if they haven't done the Season 3/4 character, will they end up doing those? I think it's vitally important that we get Kanan and hopefully Zeb. We are nearly on 13,000 at the time of recording this video, I do believe. We're at 12,910 at the time of recording. In the last couple of days, it has gone up quite a lot. It is sort of kicking in now to the last 3 days. So let's hope that we at least get Kanan, and, you know, then the whole fear of missing out kicks in, and then we end up getting Zeb. But at this moment in time, we do need... what, another, let's see, 13,000. We need another 4,000 in 3.5 days. It can be done. We've seen it done before. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Scott Layton says, hi Tim, question for next week. With Hasbro releasing named characters in the build-up packs, would you be opposed to Hasbro, instead of releasing one of the repack waves next year, they instead release repacks of carded Captain Antilles, Tusken Chieftain, Waxer and Admiral Motti? I'd have to say not really. I think the repack waves are important to get new collectors into the line. If we don't get more people into the line, then eventually the line will die, because you'll get more people leaving it than joining, essentially. There are only a couple of those figures that I would like to see on card, namely the Tusken Chieftain and Admiral Motti. Not really too bothered about Waxer being on card, especially not Captain Antilles, because he's not 100% accurate. I think that I'd want them to redo that figure before they put him on a card. But no, I think the repack waves have their place and they're important, so I wouldn't want what you're suggesting to replace those. But of course, you know, Tusken Chieftain, we definitely want him on card back, 100%. Jackson Smith says, question for next week. After watching the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, the whole time I was saying to myself, ooh, that would be a good figure on TVC, or I would love that one. I'm the same, buddy, I was doing that as well. But what really stuck out to me was the assassin droids. I really loved them. So would you rather get a 4-pack of the assassin droids or get one on a card back, if we even get them? Thanks. Well, we have had one of the assassin droids revealed since you probably asked this question. I would love a 4-pack of them though, because we are getting the all red one with the cape, but there are ones that are like half red, half tan. There's definitely like a sort of one in charge, like commander or something, captain of the assassin droid. They would be awesome as a 4-pack. That is a perfect 4-pack in fact, like 3 exactly the same, and the commander, or maybe a commander, another red one that we're also getting on the card back, and then 2 of the red and tan versions. I would buy plenty of those, believe me. Alright then guys, that's it for this week's episode. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you so much. Check out my review of the speeder bike from The Mandalorian. That is on the channel, and more reviews will be coming up soon. I will be doing a review of the standard or deluxe Chrysanthemum and comparing him against the SDCC version. I've still got that video to do. But I want to thank you all for watching, and thanks to my Patreon supporters and channel members. Your support means a great deal to me, as always. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we shall see you on the next one.